Hi, my name is Sinead Bradbury. I'm a performance nutritionist with my own health and nutrition business. Okay, so we're kicking off a session here on these dynamic women sharing their advice to anybody listening today. So first up, Jackie, we'll go to you. And what have you noticed, any changes in gender equality over the years since you started out in your business and in your world?
Yeah, well, I'm in the science and STEM background, so it's a very male-dominated area. So unfortunately, the gender is not in kilter. We've got only 28% of women in STEM in the world workforce, so it's way below what it should be. So we've got a lot of work to do to encourage more females into this workspace. And I take my role as CEO and in a leadership role very seriously, and I want to make sure to encourage the next generation of women in STEM. So I try and do as many talks. I try to make sure that if, people are thinking about it or females are thinking about going into this space, that they make sure they see women in this space, especially in a leadership role. I think you can achieve what you can see. So being visible is really my main goal in this area.
That's fantastic. Would you have anything to add to that, Anna, in relation to the STEM industry?
That's outside of my area, other than I have a teenage daughter who is studying engineering.
Brilliant.
And she is very much feeling that, yes, they are still the minority.
Yeah.
And it's quite sad, even amongst her classmates, where there's two out of a class of, I don't know, is it 27 or 30,
wow.
two girls.
That's very disappointing to
Wow.
hear.
So we need...
She loves it. But,
Yeah, but it's supposedly it's
there
at a
are
young
challenges.
age. That's when, even as I have 3 small girls and all the toys are for, babies and kitchens, and then the boys' toys are like building and stuff. So it happens at a very young age, actually, stereotypically, and it's hard to kind of move away from it.
Yeah, no, and actually, just back to that, and she'll probably kill me for saying this, but when she was in national school, probably about 10 or 11, Santa was coming along, and she really wanted to ask for connects, but she couldn't say that at school with all her other school friends, and so that had to be a non-Santa gift.
Is there anything we could be doing, Jackie, to encourage it as parents, as of young girls like myself?
I don't
as
think
well?
I'm doing an amazing job. I just make sure my kids know that what I do at work, and how I promote kind of, I suppose, being a working mom, because we give ourselves a hard time as well being a mother and working, that we should be at home a lot. But
Guilty.
I think getting the balance is really key, and making sure that the workforce, actually, it's about the workforce really to encourage women to be able to have a balance. So flexi time, taking parental leave, and again this kind of falls back into males taking their parental leave and taking kind of a stance in family home life, because if that balance is there, then it allows women to work more. So yeah, there's a lot we can do, but it's a societal kind of movement over an individual, but we can all be doing small bits, I suppose, and just being aware of how we approach the topic.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Jackie. So role models is also what you're saying there are very important to us. We need to be able to see, to achieve, to do. Anna, just moving over to you again. Role models, has there been anyone that stands out to you, someone who was a leader or supported you or was doing things differently that allowed you to form your own path into business?
Again, I'm going to bring it back quite personally to family. I've been very blessed, and I've had very strong female role models in my own family, between both grandmothers and my own mother. But whenever I get asked the question, there is one incident that always comes to mind. And if I was 5, I was 4 or 5, and I was with my grandmother on my dad's side, and they were living on a farm. And she said to me, Anna, go and whistle for the dog to come down to the house. And I responded, as my mother had taught me to at the time, it's not ladylike to whistle. To which my granny turned around and said to me, I respect your mother hugely, but never, ever, ever let anyone tell you you can't do something because you're a girl.
I love that.
And that always comes to mind,
Yeah.
That kind of gave me the confidence to
No
stand
boxes,
out
yeah.
and say, okay, yeah, maybe I can do it. And I'm not always very good at that, but, it
The words are ringing in your ears every time
Exactly.
you have to question. Brilliant. Yeah, great example. Thank you, Anna. Niamh, I'll come to you. What challenges do you face in your industry as a woman, or women face in your industry?
So I'm going to speak about the fashion industry about this, and the market in fashion is predominantly women. The people studying for fashion and textiles is mostly women as well, but the top jobs in manufacturing, in production and in creative directors are actually still predominantly men. For example, I'll take in the LVMH group, which is one of the largest luxury houses group in the world, and they have 15 haute couture and ready-to-wear brands, and only 4 of them are run by women. So there's still a ways to go, but in terms of positive news, for sustainability in brands, women are leading the way in that, and in independent brands. So there's definitely progress being made. It's just to see it at the top level as well. That still has ways to go.
And your own business itself, Niamh, what is that about? Or?
I have a silk accessories brand, so I have my own range of scarves.
Branding.
Scarves,
Beautiful.
pocket squares, kimonos, art prints. I studied fashion and I worked in the fashion industry in London and New York for fast fashion brands mainly. And from that experience, I knew I wanted to come back and do something more sustainable. Just the amount of material and products that were getting pushed and made at huge speeds to feed the market was just insane. And you'd be working on a top, say for example, the turnaround would be 6 weeks to get 20,000 units made, and it might cost $2 per top, and that covers everyone who's designed it and made it and manufactured it before it's sent to the shops, and then it would be priced at say $50 or things like that. So so when I came back to Ireland, I wanted to do something that was sustainable, was slow moving fashion as well, and that you could see clearly every steps and where each part was made. So I work with an Italian manufacturer, that a family-run company as well, and then everything else is me with it. So yeah, very
Excellent.
small company, but it's good.
Progress.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Thank you. Valerie, I'll go to you. What advice would you give to the next generation of women in your industry currently?
So I think the most important one is to believe in yourself, to be confident in your own skill set and what you're doing, but while still continuously learning and evolving. And a major factor for me, even within the company that I work, is just to have a support system. So lots of mentors, advisors, be it men or women, that are willing to actually teach you the ropes and, just to encourage you to succeed. Because no more than with your sector, with ours it's engineering. Now I'm more on the admin finance side, but there is one woman in a job in my company with 11 of us in there. Now there's another woman coming on stream shortly, but it's something that the leadership are really passionate about, is trying to encourage women into engineering and into the support and disciplines that go with it. And they're always looking for opportunities and ways that they can bring that in, because it's something, as I said, they're just very passionate about.
And do you enjoy working in a male-dominant environment, Valerie, yourself?
I do, because they're so understanding of it. They're not gender-specific roles.
Yep.
Within our company, everybody feeds into it, and the men as much as the women actually take on the leadership role and the mentoring with it, which is great.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Exactly. So advice on International Women's Day, ladies. Back to you, Jackie. What would you give to anybody out there? What's your message, your core message for International Women's Day?
I think I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
Finding the mentorship, finding that group, finding your support network is really important. So I'm part of Galway Network Ireland, and they're a great support, not so much in the STEM field, but just in general, any female in a working environment. That to me gives you an outlet to kind of figure out if something's happening.
Community.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and have your tribe. But also your own friends, and leaning in on different areas that, like, I've got a lot of friends who are in the STEM industry, and all of us are in leadership roles, which is amazing. So we really bounce off each other, and we carry each other along to make sure that we spot each other and we say, yeah, you can do it, I can do it. And
We rise by lifting others.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
that
so
would be-
important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anna, advice on International Women's Day? What would you give to anyone out there?
Very similar to Jackie and Valerie, actually. It was to don't be afraid to step forward, and I'll be the world's worst at saying, oh no, I'm not sure I could do that. But then you sit at a conference, at a function, or in a meeting room, a board meeting room, and you hear males generally speaking or doing a job and thinking, well, actually, I can do that. Why didn't I put myself forward for that? So it's to just, each and every one of us, male and female, don't be afraid to step out of that box. And Jackie was saying about network, that is fantastic. I moved back to Ireland from London in 2010, having gone straight to London from school. and I walked into the open evening in January 2011 of Network Ireland, and it has been the best support I could ever have asked for, both professionally and in terms personally. I've met great friends out
Invaluable.
of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we never
And-
know who we're inspiring when we're acting this way and behaving this way and being brave. There's somebody looking somewhere that we
Yeah.
could inspire. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great message. Thank you, Anna. Valerie, what would you say? What's your message?
So I suppose just to reiterate, just to believe in yourself and confident in your ability. And like you said, you don't know who's watching. I have a small girl who's 6,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to instill in her. No more than with your grandmother. What she said is just never let anyone tell you that you can't.
Yeah.
You can.
And sometimes things are hard,
Yeah.
you know, but we can do hard things.
Yeah, definitely. We're strong.
Niamh, yourself?
Yeah, I was actually going to say what Valerie's saying, just to believe in yourself. And then the support network is obviously so important as well, that, you know, you don't need to do it alone, that there's others here with you and that want to support you and raise you up as well. So that would be it. Yeah.
And did any of you have any example of overcoming a challenge, a specific example of it? Whether you're male or female, just something that you found difficult, you decided to do it and you went ahead and did it? Anything spring to mind?
I suppose for me it was the scary thing starting my own brand. I didn't
Absolutely.
know anything.
Yeah. The
with
unknown,
it, the unknown.
but you were
yeah.
passionate,
Yeah,
Yeah.
with it, and I
you believed
found
in yourself, yeah.
found a course actually with the local enterprise office that was aimed at creatives for starting your own brand, which was great because I didn't know anything with registering or setting that up and speaking to stockists or retailers. So that was great help and that was great support as well. And I'm still friends with the colleagues that were on that course as well. So yeah.
And I think even public speaking and sitting here in a panel like this in a discussion, often people shy away from it. Valerie, you were saying you weren't overly comfortable doing
Yeah,
it,
no.
but here you are, you have a message
Yeah.
to share. And people think I do a lot of public speaking, they think it comes natural to me, but I always have the feeling of stepping out of my comfort zone too. And I never regret that. And I think
Yeah.
it's something you have to get used to and be comfortable with. As Anna said, have your voice and
I
use
definitely
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Even so in my own personal life, with my kids, they're in a soccer club, predominantly male-based. The committee is male-based, but this year myself and 2 other mothers took on the 3 key roles of treasurer, secretary and chairperson. We're 3 women. We're taking on that role to try and evolve, get more women involved in the running of the
Huge.
club. It's a big step up, but like that, all of the men within that are teaching us. They're there to lean on as sounding boards, which we're lucky we found an inclusive group.
Yes.
But it's just something, again, stepping outside your comfort zone that I don't regret doing.
And it feels very good,
Yeah.
very right. Yes,
Yes.
well done. You girls, anything else to add in terms of any particular circumstances?
Not necessarily any particular circumstance, but just to pick up from what Valerie's saying about how the males are supporting herself and
Yeah.
the other committee members. And the one thing I would like to, I think, say as an International Women's Day message is I do think we can achieve more working equally across all genders, male and female, every gender.
Every gender,
actually.
yeah.
And I see it, I've been in, you know, because of the service we provide or the industry I work in, which I work with boards and boards of directors of large corporations. And even from a junior, I've sat around the board table from a very young age. And the most effective and the best boards I have experienced is where you've got a really good chair who actively goes out to ask for input from the female board members and to see how the dynamics of all of that works and the equal respect and you know what they achieve from that is, you know, you just can't measure it actually. So you know, back to I think we can work very well together across all genders.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie?
Yeah, I'd agree as well. I suppose, like yourself, Niamh, setting up your own company was very daunting. But I think, as you said, Sinead, stepping out of your comfort zone is, and I think that's what males do better than females because they're kind of used to it a little bit. They're kind of pushed a bit harder in a corporate area, whereas females potentially haven't been pushed. So when we do push ourselves, I think we surprise ourselves at what we can achieve, and we're always glad we did it. I don't think I've ever not been glad. So I set up our company in 2019 on my second maternity leave. So I had a 3-month-old baby at home. I was like, I don't know if I want to go back to my current role. I'm not saying that, or aren't I amazing for setting up a company during maternity leave, because it was really kind of a little bit of opportunity came up. But I quit my job and I did it. And, you know, I always said, well, I can go back and do something else if it doesn't work out. Give it a go and try. So
Why not?
I'm so glad I tried, yeah.
And just even because we're women in the workplace and in leadership roles, it's hard as well for the work-life balance. Can I ask, is there one thing that you do for yourself that has impact, that you know works for you, that keeps you feeling well and energized to continue to lead? Or is it something you need to continue to work on? Maybe you haven't found the balance. Any input there, girls, or any?
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 small kids.
Is
So
there
I have a
non-negotiables
6,
that you have?
5, and 2 at home. You know, so I work 3 days in the office. I take a Monday, it's parental day, and Thursday I do a half day. So it's about just getting the timing right. You know, so I cycled in with the kids this morning, didn't get in here till 9:30, but I'm not beating myself up about that. I'm saying that's fine, and when I'm in here, I'm effectively working. So I try and use my time efficiently, and you know, I enjoy work, so it doesn't really feel like I
Yes.
work. Really, I
That
just feel
helps.
like I'm not. There's days obviously where it's longer, of course, and there's exceptions to that. But I try and make that link throughout the week of being able to, you know, bring the kids to school and pick them up where I can. And
marrying
have
it
that
together.
balance. Yeah, or
Yeah.
popping, going to Pilates or to the gym in the middle of the day if that fits in.
Yeah, it's
you know.
merging together.
I think it's
yeah.
I think sometimes when we separate work and life, that actually
Good
that's
point.
where the
Yeah.
kind of the pressure comes. Whereas if you can kind of merge it a little bit,
Yeah.
but maybe that's easier to say when it's my own business. Maybe when you're working for somebody else, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on emails 10 o'clock at night, whereas I wouldn't really mind because I'm doing it for myself.
And you might have had some time in the morning then.
Exactly,
Take it back in the
exactly. But I think COVID has kind of helped with that as well. That our
Yeah,
life
it
is not 9 to 5 anymore. It's a
But you're
bit more
describing,
flexible.
Jackie, what works for you. And that's what we
Yes.
all need to do.
Yes.
We all have
Yeah.
different circumstances
Exactly,
to find
yeah.
out what works for
Yeah.
ourselves. Niamh, Valerie, Anna, anything to share on that? Any non-negotiables? Or do we need to talk about health and wellness another time?
Well, no, I like that. I'd second what you're saying. Like the hybrid working scheme works for me
Yeah.
because I have 2 kids at home. So Mondays and Fridays I work from home. But like that, if I need to take, I know with you it's different. You own it, the company, but our management are very good in that if I say I need to take an hour in the morning because the kids have X, Y, or Z, or I need to do this, I can make that up again or work it back.
It's important, isn't it? You
it's
need to feel
flexibility.
that.
You
Yeah.
need that. And funny you say Pilates, I've just joined a class because that's my non-negotiable, was to do something just solely for me and not to be selfish about it. And yeah, I've just joined this week, so here it goes.
So I'd like to hear that. Anna?
I'm still, even though we're in business, or I'm in business, since 2012, I'm still trying to find the balance, I'll be very honest.
Yeah, thank you for your honesty.
And I do struggle to do it. I do try and, even have a walk with the neighbour, and whereas sometimes it's more the chat than the actual exercise. But I won't say I've got the balance right, definitely
Yeah,
not.
and
There's
that's
more work
important
to
and it's
be
difficult and it's
done on
challenging.
that, yeah.
Is it something you're going to look towards?
Well, I would like to think, Sinead, since I spoke to you over
Yay!
a year ago, I've made improvements on that side.
Yeah.
But it definitely needs more work.
Yeah,
know,
and that's life as well, and that's
yeah.
the reality of it, and that's why we need to be honest with each other, and that's why we need the support sometimes, because it isn't always that easy. Niamh, how do you maintain a little bit of
Yeah, I'm
well-being
still
in there?
working on it, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely a worrier, so I'm trying to learn not to ruminate and be staying up all night thinking of something and trying to get the answer first instead of just park it and say, okay, think about that the next day. And try to, I think sleep is the main one, just to really get enough sleep, and then everything doesn't feel as stressful and as big a deal.
Yeah.
Working on that.
So the conclusion is it's progress over perfection. We're all on the
Yeah.
journey of it, and we'll continue to work hard in it, but while we're doing it, we're enjoying our work and each other and practice. So ladies, you're all members of Platform94 here. Do you find it a good community to work in, and do you find it helpful for your work?
Yeah, I think I definitely, as part of a membership in a larger ecosystem, it gives you that support and kind of, I suppose, safety blanket of always having people to chat to and kind of evolve with. It's not solely female, but either way, we're included within the whole kind of environment, and that's definitely supportive and a nice feeling to have as a female.
And
in a
helpful
workspace.
to different types and ways of working in modern society as well, like the hot desking and taking an area here and a space here. Is that correct, Niamh?
Yeah, definitely. As a community associate here in Platform 94, it's always striving to make sure that everyone feels included, and everyone feels that this is a space that they can come in, do their work as best they can, and that they're not feeling, for any reason, gender or otherwise, that they're being left out. And we definitely strive as a team to make sure that is possible for everybody.
I'd
Even-
agree with that, with the member meetups that they have every month, and the inclusivity across the board. Like for ourselves, we're doing a fundraising charity event, but the buy-in from Platform94 and the help that all the guys here have given, and from all the other companies in the building has been great. So it's a really good community.
Very
within
positive,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anna, anything to add?
Well, I'm very much the mature business and whatever here. We marked 10 years here last November, FCS Services, and I first came through the door just myself, and I've moved around. So as the team has grown, we've been able to move around, and GTC as it was then, now Platform94, Niamh, Noreen Thomas, Niamh here. The support we've had as we're growing and continue to grow. And back to what Jackie says, we are a very small business. We work with big corporates, but it's all either in their offices or now virtually online. So whilst we're here, we are very small, but yet we don't feel it because we're part of this much bigger community and we know what's going on. And as soon as you walk through the door, you do feel I'm part of something big, energizing, and I have a community and a support. And we had a very good example of that. We hosted our professional organisation, which is the Charter Governance Institute. We hosted the first CPD event here in the West in January. And the support from Emily team, poor old Emily was here till 9 o'clock at night. Once we said we were doing it, Platform94 could not do enough for us.
Support.
So thank you to Platform94, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Brilliant. Thanks, girls. Thank you for that. And thank you, Platform94, for hosting our internal International Women's Day event here today.